there's a possibility that a Democrat socialist wins in New York. New Jersey and Virginia have Democrat wins with governor races, and then Prop 50 passes. It could be, for Democrats, again, a big win in a non-midterm election year. So how do Republicans message on this going into 2026?
I think it depends on how Republicans do tonight. So if Republicans lose but do better than speculated, I think what they can say is, well, of course we were going to lose. These are blue states, but look, President Trump messaging and what he's doing is working. I think that's what we're going to see if they do better than speculated. Then there's if they do bad and just kind of what we expect, they're going to say, well, it's a blue state, like of course we didn't do well. And then as far as New York City, I think again it's a blue city, and we as Republicans need to make sure that we're reining in Democrat socialism, and we have a democracy here. So I think that's what the messaging is going to be. And ultimately, the only poll that matters is the one on election day. But I think that it's not just who wins these seats, it's also who's able to win the war, for lack of a better term, on messaging. So they might not get the results they want at the ballot box tonight, but they are probably going to be able to, I'm a comms person, right? Like you're always able to pivot in a way that suits your
Yeah,
needs.
Brittany, I actually want to ask you before moving on to our next topic. One quick question is the Republican running in New Jersey. It hasn't been running really as a MAGA Republican. Again, it's New Jersey, right? Context matters here. It's a state where folks like Governor Christie won, several terms ago, right? He's a very moderate Republican, but you kind of have to be to compete in a place like New Jersey. Next year, several Republicans on the Senate side and even in the House, the seats that they're up are in some moderate states or in more purplish districts. Do you think the fact that he has been doing so well in New Jersey, running as more of your kind of traditional Republican, and if he does well, not necessarily winning, but does well, do you think that will be a little bit of a formula, a recipe for Republicans running next year? Will they look at what he did and how he was able to compete in a moderate state? Or do you think several Republicans will still be running as MAGA, even though they're in some of these more moderate districts?
I think that the way that this race is being run in New Jersey makes sense. As someone who is a constitutional, traditional Republican myself, I hope that this is a signal that this is the way that we need to be running. Every district and every city, every community we know is going to be different, and there's going to be a different electorate. But when we're looking at next year, I think that what we learned after this election is that there's a lot of people who live in the middle. Now, that's not what's fun to talk about on the news. We're talking about the extremes on either side, but the majority of people are sort of more centrist, and we have a lot of independents now that we haven't always had. And so I think that's just something to keep in mind, is that especially folks who are independent or are kind of dissatisfied with both parties, don't really know where they stand in this moment. They don't want the political drama. They want people who are just going to deliver results and get things done. And so I hope that that is the direction that we're headed. And even if, as likely won't win tonight in New Jersey, I think that's smart for the nation. And we need two healthy political parties. And so hopefully Democrats can make those changes to be more reflective of where the American people actually
Yeah, the majority of the American people want results.